Shawn. I'm gonna call you AKA Morpheous. So, man, I've been talking to you for a while, doing a little
Appreciate
interview with you, man. Let you let people on my channel know, you know, where you started and how long you've been doing this, man. So I'll let you speak.
it. Man, shoot, I can how long I've been doing this. I've been in the video, Doug. I said like I was thinking about it. I said, damn, because my kids asked me, they said, Dad, I looked up some old stuff, man, and I saw you. He said, yo, how long you been doing this music stuff? And I was like, I never really thought about it like that.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
it's like, it's like, yo, I was damn one of the pioneers of hip hop. And I was like, oh, shoot. But you don't think about it like that at the time. You know what I mean?
Right,
Uh,
man. So when'd you
yeah,
start? What year was that?
wow,
How
around
long?
like 78, I would say
78.
1978, bro.
That's when you
1970,
started. That was my dog, by the way. So you
yeah.
telling me 1978? So you was so if people don't know, it was the group the Force M.D.s, right?
But before the Force MDs, this is
You was
before the
doing this. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And what's funny is I really started out with a group called Solo Sounds. Now
Okay.
watch this. Solo Sounds. We came out of Yonkers, New York.
Yeah.
The Solo Sounds was the pioneers of hip hop in Westchester County. But watch how deep it gets.
Okay.
Davey DMX was our DJ. So Davey DMX was our DJ for Soul Sound. He part of Soul Sound. Davey
Okay.
DMX subsequently moved from Yonkers to Queens. So he took hip hop to Queens. Davey DMX eventually becomes Run DMC DJ,
Wow. Wow.
right?
Yeah, that's
So
crazy.
he introduced it to Run DMC.
Hmm.
You remember that first record that Run DMC had out was that Dave cut the record down to the bone, and then he's talking about Davey DMX. So,
Okay.
so had it not been for Davey DMX, there wouldn't have been no Run DMC.
That's
It would have
crazy.
been and it would have been no
Yeah.
Davey DMX had not been for us soul sounds. It's
Yeah.
crazy how all this stuff takes place. So from Soul Sounds, then when I was with another group named Just Four, which was also from Yonkers. We used to compete a lot, but we was all like crews back then. So
Yeah.
funny, Just Four became the first hip hop group ever signed to a major label. So we was the first
Yeah.
hip hop act ever signed to a major label. That was Atlantic Records.
That's big. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
under
that's like groundbreaking. You know what I mean?
yeah, because at the time anything with hip hop, Curtis Blow, and all those are all independent labels, right?
Okay.
All respectfully so. But I'm talking about major, like a major label.
Yeah.
Atlantic took a chance and signed us. So we was the first hip hop act ever signed to a major label.
That's crazy. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
so yeah, so
Yeah.
and then from there, with there, I was doing music for the Force MDs because we was all friends. All of us was all friends. We was even
Yeah.
though we were back in the day, it ain't like today.
Yeah.
The hip hop acts, they want to kill each other,
They
shoot each
do.
other and stuff. Now
Yeah.
we was competitive. We
Yeah.
compete, competitive. Excuse me, be very competitive and the
Yeah.
battle, and then be out in the park having a beer, laughing
Yeah.
together. And yo, that
Yeah.
was
That's
fly what you
crazy.
did.
Well,
We'd
that's
be like,
something
that
I.
was fly what you did. I like that.
Yeah.
It was competitive, but it was fun. You know what I mean?
Well, it's crazy because like I'm from, I'm like the Cleveland area, man, and the Cleveland they call it the Cleveland curse. It's like everybody want to be against each other. But I mean,
Yeah,
even when
man.
I met you and we was working on stuff, like it's not competitive like that. It's not like head to head. I mean, it's like it's build each other up.
Yeah, it's a camaraderie we have with each other. Like, yo,
Yeah.
Doug, that was fly. What was that? Oh, that was
Yeah.
cool. What you used on that? Well, oh, what?
Exactly.
That was fly.
Yeah, man. You see other people, man. It's like they're like competing against each other. Like on, it's like, man, yeah, in the hip hop business. So I met you through YouTube and just mixing, talking about mixing and stuff. But I don't want to segue there yet. So you went and you started with those groups, and then you produced. I mean, how many record? How much have you produced?
So watch this. So now for the
Yeah.
Force MDs, we
Hmm.
was doing other things in the group Force MDs. We had a lot of hit records. We went on tour with
Yeah.
Madonna. We was on tour with Madonna in Germany. and all that stuff. So we went around and we had a fun. We was competing a lot on tour with New Edition and all. You know, because those were the two biggest acts out at that time was us and New Edition. So we was like this, but we was cool. We were cool with each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
It wasn't, you know, it wasn't that violent energy. We was like, yo, Ralph, okay, you got that? We gonna get you tomorrow night. All right, cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And that's groundbreaking. Like, where do you think that came from, man? Where do you think that violent energy came from?
well, you know, I think that violent energy came from, in my humble opinion.
Yeah.
In my humble opinion, I think it came from the digital age.
Really?
Let me tell you why I say that.
Okay.
Because back in the day, let's say the 80s, in the 90s, you got to look at music. How was the consumers of music? They got the music by way of radio.
Okay.
Radio got it by way of the record company. Record company gets it by way of the production company, right?
Yeah.
And production company gets it by way of the artist. So you would have artists that will go to a production company. They will have artist development. We would develop artists to become an artist, doing a bunch of demos and stuff and getting everything together. Once the demos and everything was right, because sometimes people, you know, it's like, no, you're not ready yet. You got to practice more. You're not ready yet. So that's the development phase, the developing phase to become an artist. Once that was completed, it went through the next stage, the production company, to produce a demo on that artist or artist.
Gotcha.
That was subsequently submitted to the record company. If a record company liked that artist, they would sign that artist through the production company, right?
Yeah.
So
there's a process.
It's a process, but watch what that does. That creates a filter between the consumer and the artist. So there's a filtering process that you went through, right?
Yeah.
Vanguards, let's call them vanguards. There was a vanguard system that you had to go through to get to the consumer, correct?
Yeah.
So now when the digital age came in, right, because what happened through that process, what happened through that process, that means in order for you to do a demo, you would have to go into a recording studio.
Yeah,
which
controlled.
means you had to have money. You had to have a budget to be able to go into a recording studio just to get a demo done.
Yep.
So this is the filtering process. So now we remove all that. How do we remove all that? Because when the digital age came in and things like Pro Tools and DAW, digital age, you know, the digital audio workstations became available to anybody.
Yeah.
Anybody. So watch this. There's no vanguards. There's no filters.
It's free game.
Huh?
It was like free game.
Because now to get to the consumer, you didn't have to go through these stages. I can go on my laptop, make a beat, make a song, and there's no filtering process to say, yo, nah, that ain't it yet, bro. That ain't it yet. You ain't got it yet. Go make something. No, I can go straight from recording it at 2:00 in the afternoon out to the consumer world by 3:00.
Yeah, that's crazy. If you think about it like that, that's crazy. There's no vanguard whatsoever. You know what I mean? I lose you for a second. Get that Wi-Fi back, man. You back?
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I got you, man. We're still here.
Yes. What that means now is that by saying anybody can do it, that means literally anybody can do it. So you got the gangbangers, you got the street people, all the street hood people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so it just brought it. Yeah.
You know, it opened the door. The door is wide open.
Yeah.
So what happens is, so now independent labels. So now anybody, man, because a lot of people in the music industry, be honest with you, came from the street. It's street gang. It's the same people.
Yeah.
It's the same.
And you had like your music, because I listened to it, and I mean, some of the songs you guys created, man, it was like positive, upbeat, good, feel good music. You said it was like that competitiveness, but not that anger. You know what I mean? That's crazy though. Like when I listen to this, man, I really ain't talked to you about this. You know, that's
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
just it's weird. It's weird.
It's funny because it's like generations, right? And I
Yeah.
get it. I get it. Every generation has a certain music, you know what I
Hmm.
mean, that speaks to that generation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, it's like my parents' generation music was not it wasn't ours, so
Right.
we couldn't relate to that. Like, so it didn't resonate with us.
Right.
As, likewise, when our parents listened to our music, they like that ain't no damn music. What is that? That's a bunch of noise.
Yeah.
Because why?
Yeah.
Because the music that we grew up on didn't resonate with them.
Right. Right.
Resonate with them because they was listening to what Frank Sinatra's and the big
Yeah.
band, the big band stuff, you know. So
Yeah.
then our music came in, of course it didn't resonate with them, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Why would it?
now when you fast forward and look now today, it's like when I'm working on people's music today, you're gonna laugh at this. When I listen to a lot of the rappers that come in my studio, we're working on stuff. To
Yeah.
me, they offbeat. They offbeat.
Yeah. Oh, you talking about dude Freddie? We was gonna talk about this Mike and do that too, but he was yeah, he's the same way. It's like, man, you ain't even on the beat. Like,
It's like,
what's
you know what I
going
mean?
on?
But then again, once
Yeah.
again, if this generation, if their generation or genre of music is to be offbeat and
Yeah.
not on beat, then you got to understand that's their generation.
Yeah.
So job now is like is not to criticize it. I just like okay, my job is to make it sound as good as I can make it sound.
Right, and that's why you still that's what like I've worked on projects with you where it's like we've talked about it. It sort of sounds bad on purpose. Like it's like real high end like what we were talking about like we were looking at that analyzer and the thing goes up like 13K, comes back down, and I'm sitting here going, and that's me. I'm sitting there going, man, that's like a lot of high end. But then you
Yeah,
showed me that trick just last night, and it was like, oh, okay, you can do that much high end, but it don't have to sound harsh. So like that's the fun. I mean, that's what we talk about a lot, like just the
hey,
engineering side.
hey,
Yeah.
is that a CAD right there you talking on?
Yeah, man, that's the thing I was saying. We were because we did
Oh,
a promotional
look,
promotional. Yeah, yeah, dude. That's what I was saying. You had that session. You had that session, and I was like, man, I got to talk to him, get him on a podcast. And we did like a few videos for him, and
I can
I
tell
was
you,
like, how
bro.
you like that? I just wanted your opinion.
CAD saved my ass. CAD, thank you very, very, very much. You saved my ass.
So what were you doing? Like, tell that story. That's funny. It's a
I
funny
was
story.
I was working on a session, and
Yeah,
this artist that I'm working on, right? We working with some things with with Dr. Dre,
yeah,
right? So the artist, so I was recording the vocals, and I said something's wrong with this microphone that I not this one, but this.
yeah.
I said something's wrong with my mic because my my mid frequency was. Remember, Doug, I
You
sent it
sent
to
it
you. I
to
said,
me. Yeah.
this. I said something's wrong. I said, is my mic broke? Right. So
I
I,
was like,
I
dude, it sounds broke.
yeah,
Oh,
I did all the troubleshooting,
yeah,
changed the wires, do all this stuff, and we came
yeah,
to the conclusion, oh man, my mic is broke. So I said, man, I got to send my microphone into the shop.
yeah.
Right? It's gonna take me probably about maybe a week before I get back.
Hmm.
And I reached out to you and told you my dilemma. And
Yeah. And we
I'm,
got it. Yeah, we arranged it. Yeah, and they said you said you had a mic in your studio, a cab mic, and then yeah, and then they got I said the E100, and then the rest is history. And then you got the mic.
you guys, they sent me the E100.
Yeah,
If you can, get
yeah,
this microphone. Trust me, this microphone saved my butt.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Because
it
that
sounds
low end.
great. It
Yeah,
sounds great.
yeah,
I was like, okay, all right, let me see what this is. They sent me something to help me out, which I do appreciate.
yeah,
And I put it through the session, and I had the artist in the vocal booth, and it's the first time we're using it. And I
yeah,
was like, hey, this sounds good.
yeah,
This is good. It's nice and warm. And so now I was like, okay. So it got me through this session, man, and we got the vocals and we mixed it and everything sounded perfect, bro. It sounded good, man. And well, hold up. Guys, I gotta tell you, real quick. Chad, this is it. You gotta get it.
Yeah, man, they did a good job. Like I said, like we were doing those videos for him, and it was a funny story because you had that cab mic in your studio, and I remember that night, man, like was sort of laughing because the mic was busted. It sounded bad.
It sounded bad.
It had no low end, and I was like, man, I was trying to master this, and I was like, nah, this ain't gonna work. And and then that worked out. It was funny timing, man. But yeah, like, so what? Let me ask you, man, like so everybody around here knows, like, so you still produce. I mean, you produce a lot. You produce a lot of people. I mean, you've worked with me on a lot of stuff. You sent me a lot of stuff. I mean, how you think that's changed from when you was like performing, producing back then? I mean, it's a totally different thing, right?
Yeah, you know what? It's it's a different. The methodology on how to get to a certain point changes. That changed. And here's the funny thing. I know a lot of guys that were in my circle, 80s and 90s. When the digital age came in, they weren't able to survive because they weren't able to make that transition from analog to digital. That's what the hard part was, being able for them to make that transition.
Right.
You know what I mean? I was able to make that transition because I stayed following what was happening in technology, what was happening, why it was happening, what was the difference between this and that. And you know, I kept my ear to the ground and listened to the younger guys. I really did. The guys that's younger than me, like, what are y'all doing now? Like,
it's smart. Yeah.
Yes. I said, let me put away, let me empty out my cup.
Yeah.
And come to the table.
Yeah.
And just let me see what you guys listening to. What's happening with your music. So I started to understand it, and I said, okay, oh, that's what it is, and just was able to make that transition. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm not gonna lie, man. Like, you showed me some stuff. You've stayed up on plugs more than I have. Like, you'd be like, you gotta check this out. I'd be like, what? Check what out? And then I listen to it. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. And then I want your opinion.
Crazy because the thing about you, right? I felt I met somebody that I could talk to, that we could bounce things off each other and stuff. You know what I mean? And
it's like-minded, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, because you're on the same path. I think if you want to get into this business, and anybody that wants to be creative, it's like a whole new world, like converters and just understanding plugins and compression and getting the best out of an artist. Or you like send me a mix from like Michael Jackson or something, man, and you're like, man, listen to this mix on this, and then you listen to it and you're like dissecting all these pieces of it, and you're like, how'd they get that? And that's like the fun of this, you know what I mean? Like, how you get that vocal to sit like that. And then you see all these debates and stuff with these new guys, like, do you need a better preamp? Do you need modeling mics? Would you take a converter over a preamp? Would you know what I mean? And it's like, I mean, yeah, it can get deep, man. I could do these all day, you know what I mean? On the YouTube channel. Yeah. But man, let me hit back to where you're at. So you went from the Force MDs and who you've been working with? You've been working with all kinds of people. Tell me what you've been doing, man. You've been doing all kinds of stuff because I talked to you, but yeah, let people know.
So when the Force MDs, we were signed as Tommy Boy as an independent label. We were managed by Hush Productions, which is Charles Huggins and them. And on that management also roster was, let me see, who was there? Lilo Thomas, Freddie Jackson, High Five, Melissa Morgan. These are all major artists throughout the 90s that were really big. You know what I mean? And so we was all managed by the same company. And so what happened was me getting my producers' feet wet. I got an opportunity to produce Freddie Jackson. I had songs because I was always writing. So, Freddie Jackson was at the height of his career. They was working on the album, and I submitted some songs that I wrote. And they liked the song, took the songs, and they gave me a shot.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, cool. So I started producing, and then the songs I did made the albums. Then that subsequently other things started coming my way. Eric Gable, I did. It was another big artist out who was on Epic Records at that time. Did records with him. I had done records. We did a great remix for Janet Jackson.
Yeah.
SWV, Keith Sweat,
Mhm.
Christopher Williams. So it's been it's been fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can say that I've had the opportunity to work with a lot of different great artists. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? A lot of
And
great
now
artists.
some hip hop artists too, right? Like some new hip hop artists and people.
Yeah, and a lot of artists that subsequently were not big,
Yeah. Yeah.
but were amazing as far as talent is concerned. I mean,
Yeah.
literally amazing. You know
Right.
what I mean? And coming from Yonkers, I was like the first one in Yonkers that kind of like had some notoriety. So I had Mary J. Blige, who was also a good friend of the family. She's actually my sister's best friend, and
Okay.
was the godmother to my niece. So Mary J. Blige came through DMX. I did X's first album called Born Loser.
Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah,
Uh,
you told me that. That was crazy, man. Because I was like, yeah,
yeah,
that's
yeah. So
cool.
Yonkers, we was all, everybody in Yonkers, man, was family, man. The Locks and stuff, man. Jadakiss and
Yeah.
Styles related to me and stuff, man. And so we
Yeah.
was all, it was a different, you know what I mean? A nice
Yeah.
little man that we all worked with, you know.
You related to Styles P?
Yeah,
Is that what?
well, my brother's daughter is first cousins to Styles. That's why I see Styles.
Really? I
Yeah,
didn't know that, man.
yeah.
Jadakiss, man, that's my dude. I love that. I love his music, man.
Me and
So
Kiss lived in the same building.
I didn't
Yeah,
know that.
I knew Kiss. I knew Kiss since she was like maybe 11.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that, man. See, this is stuff you talk about on a podcast. You don't even talk about on the phone.
Yeah. Me, Kiss, my Styles P, man. All
Hmm.
we all like this. We all like
I
this.
didn't
You
know
know.
that, man. All
Yep.
right, man. I gotta ask you. You gotta get them. You gotta give them one gem out here, because you know what my YouTube channel's about. It's about mixing. I mean, you got any gems? You shared a gem last night, and you really helped me with that master, man. I was mastering a record, and I
Jim,
asked him,
this
give
is
him a
something I'm
gem.
learning. I got a few students that I work up under me who I'm like trying to help tutor.
Yeah,
I sat up and I watched them. A lot of times I'll bring them in the studio and they're working on the project, and I'll get out the chair and I'll
yeah,
just go to the side. I'll sit to the side and just
yeah,
watch.
yeah,
Watch. I don't step on nobody's toes. Watch, and I watch them, and I noticed a lot of problems that they were having. And you know what? A lot of problems that they were having over processing.
Oh yeah, there you go. That's a gem in itself.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
watch this. I said, you know what? I said, do this. See, because the problem we have, because we have so many plugins,
yeah,
doesn't mean you have to use all of those plugins,
yeah, and then
right?
make another track full of
It's
plugins.
like, are you
Yeah.
kidding me?
Uh-huh.
So I thought about it like, you know what? You got to go back to the basics. Let's say we're
Yeah,
dealing with ice cream. What's your basic flavors? Chocolate, vanilla, and strawberry. Those are your basic flavors, right?
yeah. That's a good
All
way
the
to
other
put it.
stuff, chocolate, swirl, pecans, with so all that's extra. Vanilla, chocolate, strawberry is your basics. So if I'm looking at audio, what would that be? That would be a compressor,
Yeah,
a channel strip,
yeah,
right? It's
yeah,
a channel strip and maybe a de-esser. And I said, if
yeah,
you really want to get your skills together, take all your plugins off, and
yeah.
only thing you're going to put on your insert is a channel strip. You get a compressor and you got a de-esser. Make it work.
Yeah, yeah. Can you do it? It's funny because when I was growing up, man, my dad almost killed me because I got like 8,000 CDs in his barn. He's like, when are you gonna get rid of these? And that was all EQ, year after year after year after year. I found the EQ, and I was like, I gotta learn this. I gotta learn this thing, and like just yeah, that one tool of EQ and EQ and EQ, and it's like
Yeah,
that's what
because
I tell people.
you can do that if you can make it work and get damn near close. Because it's funny because if you look at all the records that we grew up on that we've grown to love, they didn't have all the stuff that we're using today.
Mm-mm.
They didn't have all that.
No.
They had the SSL console, the SSL console, or the console you was working on, whether it was a Neve, a
Yeah.
SSL, or EMI, the console was your bread and butter.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That was your bread and butter, right? You had a few of the hardware as far as reverbs and delays and stuff,
Yeah.
sure. But I'm talking about the meat potatoes was your console.
Yeah. And you had like EQ, pre,
That's it.
gate, compressor.
That's it.
So that's what you would tell somebody. Quit putting so many plugins on it.
Yeah, stop putting so many plugins. Start
Yeah.
with just a channel strip, because that would be exactly what you just said.
Yeah.
A gate, a
Yeah.
compressor, a EQ.
Yep.
Those are the same things that we're talking about in the digital. That's what you're starting with.
Right.
If you can't get that record or that song at least 90% of the way there with the channel strip, then the problem is you.
You know what? It's funny because we even talked about the CAD mic, but you can make like a great mic. I don't care if you spend 10 grand on a mic, but if you overdo it and cook it, what are you doing? And I hear that. That's mine. Like I hear people, I'd rather have them not touch it. You know what I mean? Like you said, it's like.
And Doug, you know how on Thanksgiving,
Yeah.
everybody goes to a certain family house, you go to your family house.
Yeah.
You might go to Auntie because
Yeah.
the way she make macaroni and cheese, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
You say, yo, don't nobody macaroni and cheese like Auntie, right? So let's look at that. Let's analyze that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So everybody gets the same exact ingredient. Auntie ain't using no ingredients that nobody else is using.
Yeah.
So what is it? Is it the ingredients, or is it the cook, or is it the chef?
You don't give the chef credit though. That's the problem.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's the chef. It's not the ingredients. It's the chef.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. And I think that's the best lesson somebody that just gets into engineering can learn. It's like, man, you got to become a good chef. But like, how about, all right, I got to hit you with this. Like, how about if you at that starting point and you know that you ain't that good of a chef? I mean, that's where a lot of people are, I think, today. And it's not that, I'm not throwing stones at them. It takes time. It takes time. You got to build up.
It takes time to become a good chef.
Yeah, you got to build up.
Yeah, you can't microwave that. You can't.
No.
That's the problem. A lot of people want to microwave, and I get it. I understand. They want to microwave. They want to come from point A to Z like that. And no, anybody that you talk to who are at the top of their game, they will tell you the time that it took them to get to that point.
Yeah, yeah.
That.
Yeah, and that's the same with me, man. I like there's been times where I'll do a lot to something, but there's times where I'll do little, but it's very little pieces to get it. You know what I mean? I'm not putting 55 plugins on to get it. So it's like how can you get to where you want to go with a little bit of,
You and I have been doing this for so long, and we're still learning stuff.
Absolutely. That's the fun part about it. It's like I just learned, like I said, I just learned something from you last night. I had a plugin I never used.
Once you stop learning, then it's like nowhere to go. Like, where do you go from that point? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're like, I want to learn. Yeah. So, and we're still learning, and we're not ashamed to say that. I'm like, yo, dude, I like listening to some of the new things that people doing and go, wow, that was dope. I never thought about doing that. That was crazy how you did that. Right? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I've learned a lot from you because of that. Like talking about low end. Like you get this certain low end, and like hip hop and R&B and pop, it's got to hit. It's got to hit, but it's like there's so many ways to make that work. So
one thing that I really truly advise people to do is reference.
Yeah, that's true.
I can't emphasize referencing enough.
Yeah,
you can't build a house without a blueprint.
That's true. That's
you
true.
Cannot do it. If you do, you turn the refrigerator, like you turn the faucet on and the toilet flush, right?
That's what I was doing with you. I was referencing your track you mixed on my master that I had to do, and I was referencing your vocal. That's what's crazy about it. That's how that worked together. So if I wouldn't have heard your vocal like a few nights prior, I wouldn't have had that in my head to say, man, this needs that vocal. I'm
gonna tell you something. A couple of years ago, this one record called Tropical. It was called Tropical something.
Yeah.
Remember that song you did that you mixed and mastered?
Yeah.
I said, yo, that was one, and it's still to this day
Yeah.
one of the things that I always used to reference. I said, yo, how did you get this record to sound like
Yeah.
this? So I would pull it up, right, and I would listen to that song for about maybe 15 minutes and just calibrate my ears, and I would write down things. Damn, and then when you did a video on it, I was like, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah. I haven't been doing videos. You're kicking back the YouTube channel. You know that? This is launching
Yeah,
it back, man. So I appreciate you even
exactly.
doing this.
I was like, wow. So I could look at and see how you got to where you got to. And I
Hmm.
really appreciated that. So that was my reference. But I was like, yo, Doug, I love what you did with that record. What did you do? So when you did a tutorial breakdown on how you process the kick and how you did
Yeah.
something, I was like, oh, okay.
And it's ever evolving, man. It's constantly evolving all the
Exactly.
time, man. But yeah, that's what's fun about it. So, man, I ain't gonna keep you too much longer. But what else? So you now today you're producing a lot, and fortunately I get to work with you a lot. You know, we get to work together on projects, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Um, you take just you. What are you doing? I mean, as far as mixes, you take mixing from everybody, or what are you doing?
Yeah. I kind of take mixing a lot right now because right now I got like maybe
Hmm.
three artists that I'm producing I invest in my production. One of them is an artist named Zaim the Dream. Check him out.
Yeah, I checked him out. Yeah.
Yeah, because you did the master for him on
Yeah, he's phenomenal, man.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's been managed by Ice T, and
Yeah.
he's awesome. So we kind of getting his project ready for 2023. I have another young lady that I just started working with from LA named
Hmm.
Lauren Kelly, and she's phenomenal, man. I mean,
Yeah.
she's young, but she's amazing. Her writing and stuff is amazing. So me and her
Yeah.
clicked, man, and we got in the studio, man, and started, writing and it just was falling together, bong, 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 bong. So
Yeah.
those are some projects that I'm personally involved in. The other projects are projects that I do as work. People send me stuff, can you mix this for me? Blah blah blah. But one of the things I'm really interested in more is this technology with this uh transit thing. You know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about?
Yeah.
Uh, where they have we can work like from where you are to where I am, and they're in sync. I know Cubase has it, Cubase Transit, or the Hub. Where you know
Okay.
what I mean?
No, I don't know. I'm trying to think about.
Where you could be at where you are, and say for
Oh, okay. Yeah, like live casting.
right, and
Okay. Yeah.
I can record you. Say I'm in my studio and you're in LA, and
Yeah.
I need to get these vocals done. So instead of having to fly you here or so forth, you can do your vocals from where you are,
That's
and
great.
I'm pitching it. But yeah, it's amazing right now. It's like, oh, that's deep. You
Yeah.
know,
It's like it is deep. Yeah.
and it's getting better. The technology is getting better and better and better. So I think what's happening is the better they get with the fiber optics, because some places still have to update their fiber optics. So the better
Yeah.
your Wi-Fi is, or excuse me, or your internet connection is, then it's going to be simultaneously. It ain't going to be
Yeah.
no lag whatsoever,
Latency. Yeah.
latency at all, and that's where it's going to be like, wow,
Yeah.
you
Because you
know,
can record. You don't ain't got to travel.
you ain't got to travel.
Just everybody in their house. But
Yeah,
yeah, so you've been working on all these projects, man. I always appreciate working with you, and it seems like every time I work with you, I learn something. Like
yeah,
that's
and
a
the
good
same
thing.
thing
That's a
here.
good thing. Yeah,
And the
that's a good.
same thing, I'm like, Doug is my dude. I got to talk
Yeah,
to Doug. Doug, what do you
yeah,
think about
man. You've introduced me to a lot of cool people, so it's like it's fun. It's like yeah, it's not a burden. You know what I mean?
yeah,
It's like you got into this for the right reason, and I mean, I mean, your mixes are always solid. I mean, like the last, I'm just like, man, these sound good. So whatever you've been
and
doing to vocals, that's a trick.
you know what? This thing is in our blood, bro.
Yeah,
It's
yeah. When it's in it, it's just you. But yeah, there's some things you've been doing to vocals, and I'll have like a new guy come into my studio, and he's like, man, I'm trying to get that modern vocal, and it's like, I think you hit it. You know,
Yeah,
I think you hit it. I was
yeah,
like, yeah, yeah, it's like clean, but it ain't harsh. It's like over the, yes, it sounds good, man.
yeah,
But
yeah. It took me a while to learn that, to figure out how are they doing that. But once again, I keep saying referencing,
yeah,
listening to other people. Say, how are they doing that? How
yeah,
are they doing that? If that's the sound of today, I want to understand how are they getting that sound today? What?
yeah,
And when you find out those tools and that's, then you go, oh, that's how that's happening.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
yeah.
Man, it's a fun time, man, and like I said, man, I can't wait to work on some more stuff. Appreciate
There's
you
some,
even.
got some more stuff coming down the pipeline, man. So let's keep going.
Yeah, man, and I appreciate, man, if you wanna end with something, say some last words or something, man. I appreciate you being on here.
Yeah,
And
thank you for having me on, man. Thank you, man.
yeah,
Said to all the other newcomers or producers and engineers or people who are inspiring to this business.
yeah,
Listen, man, I got to tell you, Doug, this channel is one of the best informative channels
yeah.
is out there. You have to subscribe. If you didn't subscribe, please subscribe. You're going to learn
I
a lot.
appreciate that.
You're
Yeah,
going.
and I'm making a commitment to get back on it, and this was, like I said, this was the launch bag because I spent, it was like just a few years, man, just dodging, just getting other stuff situated. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But now
yeah,
now I got a lot of content, man. I got a lot of different interfaces, different tricks, different things, and yeah, I like to tell people the truth. You know what I mean? Tell them
yeah,
the
yeah.
truth, like, hey, if you do this or this converter is better than that converter, or maybe it's not to you. You know, there's all kinds of stuff to talk about.
You
So
know what? That's what I had when I first came across your channel
yeah,
years ago. I thought that I said this is one of the most honest channels. You
I
know what I mean?
appreciate that because that's what I wanted it to be.
Yeah, I was like, this
Like,
is the most
yeah,
authentic, awesome, truthful channel that I've seen
yeah,
out there. It's like we're not gonna water it down for you. Well,
right,
we're gonna give it to you raw dog. This is what it
right.
is. Take it or leave it.
Take it
This
or
is what,
leave it, man. Yeah, yeah. I appreciate that's a huge compliment, man, because that was the main intent of the channel. It's like I want to tell people, well, first of all, show the passion I do have for this.
right.
I love it, man. It's like I don't know what I'd do if I wasn't doing this. But then beyond the passion, then it's be truthful with people, man. Tell them the truth. Tell them what hey, this plugin or that plugin or this mic or that mic or this EQ or that EQ. But at the later it started getting into more gear, and now I want to get back to more like technique. You know what I mean? Stuff like talking about like how I did this or how you do that. So that's what's gonna happen, man. So
Yeah,
you kicked it back off.
yeah, man. So 2023 is coming, man. So
Yeah.
it's right around the corner. So we getting ready, y'all.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you coming on. This was a good interview. I like that in the back. What is that? What's you use Ortone still? The
Uh,
Maventones?
yeah. I got my Ortones, I got my JBLs, and I
Yeah.
swear by my JBLs and my
Yeah.
Ortones, and everything is kind of sitting just right.
Yeah. Yeah, they sound good coming out of there. That's for sure.
They're just sitting right in my, as far as my outboard gear. A
Yeah.
real quick shot.
Take a shot.
This is my where I'm using what you helped me out with the warm audio, because I love
Yeah.
1073, my compressor, my Protec EQs, my Fusion, the
Yeah.
Burl, my Burl. I love my Burl.
Yeah,
And
that thing sounds great.
yeah, and of course I got I'm going through Apollo. I still love my D box, and you put me onto this Bluey. You
That
put
thing's
me onto
nice
the Bluey.
too.
Yeah, yeah, you put me onto that Bluey. And
Yeah.
once you told me about the Bluey, I said,
Yeah.
Doug, you serious? He said, yo, bro, you got to check out that Bluey.
It's
I
got
was like,
that
oh,
push. That's like it's got that push that it does. So
yeah,
they said that piece of gear that they modeled the summing of the SSL. So that's what they said was the sound, the difference, you know?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Isn't that crazy? Well, man,
yeah.
I'm gonna let you be, man. You got anything else you want to say before I get off here?
I'm pretty much good. Like I said, man, again, everybody, man, check out the channel.
Yeah.
Subscribe to the channel. If you haven't already, Subscribe to the channel. I guarantee you're going to learn a lot. I guarantee you'll learn a lot from this channel.
Appreciate it, man. So yeah, we'll keep working on projects, and hopefully we'll get you back on.
Yes, sir.
Maybe we'll do some mixing, and we'll get your take on some plugins or something.
Yeah. We do that in part 2.
All right, man. Well, it was good talking to you, and I'll catch up with you on the phone sometime. Probably
Okay.
short. All right, man.
All right. Peace and love.
Thanks, man.